NASA scientists have recently solved one of the biggest health threats facing astronauts, which is something that also plagues up to 63% of the population. It's not radiation, bone and muscle loss, or even psychological stress. Instead, it's toenail fungus. The damp environment, coupled with the fact that astronauts often go days without changing their socks, creates the ideal breeding ground for fungus. And a fungal infection in space, no matter how small, can quickly turn deadly. But now, thanks to this newly discovered breakthrough that can clear your toenails of fungi right now, toenail fungus infections in space are no longer a threat. The best part is that this deep space fungal solution has now been released to the public, allowing more than 127,700 men and women across the US to finally eliminate their nasty toenail fungus for good. And here's the best part. This isn't even some expensive side effect-ridden pill, or some toe-crunching restricted device, or even a painful invasive procedure. Instead, it's a simple yet astoundingly effective solution. And just imagine how it would feel. Instead of having to hide your feet in shame, you've confidently kicked off your shoes at the beach, revealing clear, healthy toenails. And the burning itch, the embarrassment, and the constant worry, these will all be things of the past. Instead, you receive compliments on how healthy and vibrant your toenails look, and you can't help but smile with pride. You feel attractive, admired, and you'll finally be free of the embarrassment that used to torment you. No more hiding, no more feeling judged. And while that might sound like a far-fetched dream right now, you should know that since first being developed by NASA, this deep space antifungal breakthrough I'm about to share with you is based on research from prestigious institutions like Dartmouth, the University of Toronto, UCLA, and Harvard. And it tackles the root cause of toenail fungus in a way that other treatments simply can't, all without any harmful side effects, allowing you to regain the confidence and freedom you deserve once and for all. Hey, it's Steve Madison here. And inside this highly confidential presentation, which I bet your podiatrist would beg you not to watch, not only will I reveal the root cause behind your toenail fungus nightmare, but much more importantly, I'll show you exactly how you can permanently eliminate it, thanks to the powerful new deep space antifungal breakthrough developed by NASA. And this is something that works no matter how long you've had toenail fungus or how severe your condition is, even if you're type 2 diabetic or have tried every over-the-counter remedy available. Moreover, it's got nothing to do with harmful medications, messy creams, or painful laser treatments. It's much simpler than that. However, the moment you start using this antifungal secret, you'll be astonished by the rapid transformation of your toenails. No more choosing vacation spots based on whether or not you'll have to go barefoot. No more constant itching, burning, or discomfort that keeps you up at night, worrying about the infection spreading to your loved ones. Instead, you'll enjoy beautiful, healthy toenails that make you feel clean, proud, and attractive again. And once you start using this breakthrough, you'll be joining the ranks of over 127,700 ecstatic men and women across the US who've already saved their toenails with this revolutionary discovery, like Karen in Miami.
I can't thank you enough. I've suffered from toenail fungus for years, and it got so bad that I dreaded going to the beach with my friends. After discovering your video, my nails began to clear up, and I can really show off my feet without shame.
And Thomas in New York.
I've given up on ever getting rid of my toenail fungus. It was so embarrassing that I avoided any activity where I had to take my shoes off. But thanks to your video, I've found freedom from the constant anxiety and embarrassment. My toenails look amazing now, and it's all thanks to your incredible solution.
And Mary in Ohio.
I have blood sugar problems and have struggled with toenail fungus for years. I can't believe how quickly the breakthrough you shared in your video has changed my life. Now my feet feel fresh and healthy, and I no longer worry about the infection spreading. It's like a dream come true.
Once you see the groundbreaking science behind this inexpensive solution for yourself, your story could be just like the ones you've heard from Karen, Thomas, and Mary. And trust me, I understand firsthand just how life-changing this transformation can be. Because before discovering this antifungal breakthrough and trying it for myself, my toenail fungus nightmare nearly cost my son a college scholarship when he couldn't compete in the biggest swim meet of the year. And I'll share more about that heart-wrenching day that nearly shattered our family's hopes in a moment. And I'll also reveal the real reason why astronauts never get toenail fungus in space, and how you can use the same deep space antifungal method that they use to eliminate even the most stubborn and severe cases of nail fungus in just 30 seconds per day. So let's get started. Now, Like I mentioned a moment ago, my name is Steve Madison, and I hope you won't mind if I take a second to explain who I am and why the discovery I'm about to share with you can make a massive difference in your life. First, I have to tell you that I'm not a doctor, researcher, or scientist. Instead, I'm a 43-year-old welder, and I live in a small town just outside Jacksonville, Florida, with my wife and son. Most people would take one look at me and say, I'm your typical red-blooded American. I work hard and take good care of my family. But up until recently, I was carrying a dirty, nasty secret. Because hidden beneath my old, worn-out work boots was a raging nail fungus infection that I simply could not control. It was a living nightmare. And nothing I ever did seemed to get to the root cause of my toenail fungus. No sooner had I finished a course of treatment thinking that maybe this time it actually worked, when a new infection would sprout up again like a weed that refuses to die. I tried virtually every antifungal cream and powder out there, but any relief I got was temporary. In fact, the more I used antifungals, the more resistant my fungus seemed to become. And that's not even mentioning the burning sensation those creams gave me at times, which left my skin irritated and raw. I also tried various drugs and injectables, but those always came with nasty side effects. They made me nauseous and upset to my stomach. It made me feel like I needed to vomit. Some even gave me diarrhea. I also suffered from headaches and even depression. And when I heard how these antifungal drugs could damage your liver and other organs, well, that was it. I decided to stop all of it cold turkey. Instead, I tried some of the more unconventional treatments out there. I dabbed Vicks Vapor Rub on my nails, a home remedy whispered about in online forums. The cool mentholated ointment was soothing, but ultimately it had no effect on my persistent fungus. I also tried tea tree oil, but that didn't work out either. After that, I got so desperate, I even considered laser treatments and visited a podiatrist. But then I learned about the mixed results of lasers and how they can leave your feet red, raw, and blistered. Finally, the podiatrist told me the best thing I could do was to remove the infected nails. But the thought of mutilating my body made my stomach turn. I could almost feel the phantom pain of each toenail being ripped from me. Honestly, I was teetering on the edge of despair. I had no idea what else I could try, and the idea of simply giving up and living with fungus for the rest of my life just filled me with dread. So I started devouring every article, blog, and how-to video that I could find about how to get rid of toenail fungus. But all I discovered was how it can take over your entire body, infecting vital organs like the heart and even creeping into your brain. I was terrified, yet I kept reading, hoping I would eventually come across a real solution. I just didn't know what else to do. Then, just when I thought things couldn't get any worse, they did. And in the worst way imaginable. What happened next was by far one of the worst days of my life. Yet, looking back, I'm glad it happened, because it led me to the discovery of a deep space fungus breakthrough that eliminates toenail fungus and restores your nails to their natural, healthy state, giving you back your freedom, your confidence, and your peace of mind. So anyways, what happened on that fateful day was that my son got infected with my toenail fungus, and it almost cost him his scholarship. You see, my son was the best swimmer on his high school swim team. He really is incredibly talented, and I'm not just saying that because I'm his dad. When people see my son swim, they're amazed by how fast he is. In fact, he's so fast that he had a really good shot at getting a full ride scholarship to the University of Texas, which many consider to be the top men's swimming school in the nation. I was so proud of him, but I was always extremely paranoid about giving him my toenail fungus. And because my son and I have the same shoe size, I obsessed about not mixing up our socks and keeping my shoes as far away from his as possible. And then it happened. The one thing I had been so careful about preventing, and it was all my fault. I was on a phone call and needed to run out and get something from my car. So I quickly slipped on my son's shoes without thinking, and the timing couldn't have been worse. That week, he had a major swim meet, and several top college scouts were scheduled to be there to watch him swim, including a scout from the University of Texas. The following day, my son came home with a look on his face that made my heart sink. He said, "Dad, they were yelling fungus freak at me and threw me out of the locker room. Now I won't be able to compete tomorrow." Then he stormed off and slammed his bedroom door. His words cut through me like a knife. He had worked so hard to get a swimming scholarship, and now his entire future was at risk. I called his coach, but he was firm. He did not want to risk infecting the entire team. I felt terrible. To think that my foot fungus was now jeopardizing my son's future was more than I could take. I felt an overwhelming sense of both guilt and helplessness. So I did the only thing I could. I prayed. I asked God to please help me find a solution for my son. Anything that would eliminate his toenail fungus so that he could swim again. Now, I didn't know it at the time, but God was about to answer my prayers in a big way. Because the next week, in a flash of inspiration, I decided to take my son to the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. Along with being an avid swimmer, my son has always had a passion for space exploration and NASA. And he'd been begging me to take him there for months. So in an effort to cheer him up, I thought it would be the perfect thing to do. Plus, it was only a few hours away from where we live. And boy, I'll tell you, we picked the perfect day to go. Because just as we got there, they were getting ready to start a special presentation. A few retired astronauts were sharing stories about their experiences in space. And as we listened to the lecture, one of the astronauts said something that immediately caught my attention. He mentioned how difficult it was to maintain personal hygiene up in space. In fact, he said they'd often go months without a shower and wear the same socks for multiple days in a row. Now, I knew he was half joking, but when he said that, a light bulb went off. I couldn't help but think that there was probably at least some truth to it, and that they probably did have a hard time dealing with fungus, especially since they're in such cramped and confined quarters with each other. So I raised my hand and asked them if they did in fact have a fungus problem in space. And while I didn't know it at the time, what he said next would ultimately change everything for me and my son, as well as over 127,700 Americans, because he revealed the deep space antifungal breakthrough that permanently eliminates toenail fungus no matter how bad it is or how long you've had it, and giving you back bright, clear nails, half-moon, healthy nails instead. The astronaut explained how NASA thinks of everything before a launch, and how in space there was absolutely no room for error. That meant taking everything that could go wrong and solving it long before it ever happened. And one of these problems, he said, was fungus. He joked about how NASA had a secret weapon that protected them against fungal infections and all sorts of other bacteria and viruses. But before he was able to say what that secret weapon was, someone else shouted a different question at him. Now, obviously, I was dying to know what that secret was. After the talk, I waited for the crowd to leave before I asked him about how astronauts deal with fungus in space. He explained that fungus can become a big danger in space. It could make astronauts sick and even cause significant problems for the space mission. Then he told me about something called the sick spaceship. This term, used by NASA, refers to any spacecraft with a fungal or bacterial problem. He explained how, even in space, fungi could thrive. In fact, he said that at the International Space Station, they once had a major problem with fungal overgrowth. And this was why NASA research teams spent so much time studying ways to kill fungus. Then he said something that made my jaw drop. It also immediately explained why nothing I had tried before had ever worked, and why, when it did, the toenail fungus would always come back. You see, the astronaut told me that when NASA had really started to study this fungus problem head on, using extremely advanced microscopes and a lot of other technology that virtually no other scientific laboratories in the world had access to, they'd found something very surprising: an incredibly dense and tightly knit fungal cocoon that surrounds the fungus. You can see what it looks like here. And as NASA continued to devote their best men and resources to this, performing countless experiments, they eventually realized that this fungal cocoon's primary purpose was to help protect fungus as it grows and multiplies, like a hardened microscopic shield. He also explained that this incredibly dense mesh-like cocoon makes it virtually impossible for most forms of treatment to fully penetrate it and therefore reach and hit the fungus full force in order to destroy it. That is why no matter how strong they are, drugs and antifungals just don't work. Their particles are simply too big to get through. Meanwhile, under the cover of this protective cocoon, the fungus continues to spread and thrive. And the longer these fungi stay hidden and sheltered, the stronger and more uncontrollable they become, growing more resistant to antifungals and drugs. And as long as they're tucked away under this fungal cocoon, we can't kill them. Then the astronauts told me that even after NASA scientists had discovered this protective cocoon, at first they didn't have a way of penetrating it. Luckily, NASA doesn't play around with issues like this, nor do they give up, especially when it comes to mutating fungus putting space missions worth billions of dollars at risk. So they kept analyzing this fungal cocoon with the latest state-of-the-art microscopes, and eventually uncovered these super tiny micro holes in its mesh, which meant that there was a way in. Eventually, the astronauts concluded, we solved it thanks to a pretty special blend of nanoparticles. Seeing the blank look on my face, he continued by explaining that nanoparticles are extremely small particles. They can be 50,000 times smaller than the width of a human hair. This means that they're able to get to places that are typically off limits to larger particles. And because of that, he explained, these nanoparticles can easily penetrate through the protective fungal cocoon and attack the fungus at its source. This isn't a surface-level fix, he said. It's a deep, targeted solution. He shared that the nanoparticles had a devastating effect on the fungus. Not only could they pierce through the fungal cocoon, but they also stick to the fungi, causing them to self-destruct. Just look at this high-resolution image from one of NASA's advanced microscopes. That dark blob in the top left corner is what these fungal cocoons look like under a microscope. And look what happens after they come into contact with these nanoparticles. Just 3 minutes later, the cocoon is entirely destroyed, and now the fungus is defenseless. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Those scientists over at NASA are pure geniuses. Can you imagine? Here we were, my son and I, struggling with stubborn toenail fungus, and we come to find out that there's a real solution out in space. I couldn't help myself. I had to ask him if there was some way that we could get our hands on this solution. After all, it sounded like a slam dunk when it came to getting rid of toenail fungus. Unfortunately, though, the astronaut said he didn't know. He said, we were just given this stuff before each mission as part of our supplies. I have no idea where you could get it outside of NASA. But if you really want to know how it all works, the research is online. Just look up nanoparticles and fungus. With that, he excused himself and my son and I headed home. The entire ride home, all I could think about were these nanoparticles. How do they work? Where do you get them from? So the next morning I was up early and at my computer, scouring the web for anything I could find on nanoparticles and fungus. I read through countless academic papers and case studies for hours, but I was having trouble finding specific things about nanoparticles and toenail fungus. And I was just about to give up in frustration when suddenly something caught my eye. A scientific paper talking about the effects of nanoparticles on fungus. And that paper linked to several more, and after reading through each study, it was clear to me that nanoparticles worked against fungus. Due to their small size, the nanoparticles are able to penetrate the protective fungal cocoon, which is typically difficult for larger antifungal agents to breach. Once inside, the antifungal agents attached to the nanoparticles can effectively kill the fungus. But that's all I knew. I didn't know where to get these nanoparticles from or what it all meant for me and my son. But then I stumbled upon a gold mine, a series of research papers that explained what type of nanoparticles work best at killing fungus. And they were all saying that the type of nanoparticle that seemed to have the most lethal effect on fungus was silver. Now, this surprised me a little. I'd never really thought of silver as anything but a type of precious metal. But now I was reading how silver has been used as an antifungal for centuries, how even the ancient Egyptians used silver to prevent wound infections, and how the Greeks and Romans used it to purify water, wine, and food. However, what really caught the attention of NASA was the antifungal powers of nanosilver. Because starting about a decade ago, NASA scientists had gotten to work, painstakingly crafting the tiny silver nanoparticles and introducing them to the seemingly invincible fungus. This was a first-of-its-kind experiment, and the experts at NASA didn't know what to expect, so they held their breath as they watched via an ultra-high magnification microscope to see if these silver nanoparticles could destroy the fungal cocoons in real time. And the results were astonishing. Not only did the silver nanoparticles navigate their way through the protective fungal cocoon with ease, but once inside, they showed a remarkable ability to attack and neutralize the fungus. It was a breakthrough moment. The silver nanoparticles didn't just work, they exceeded all their expectations, proving far more effective than any other substance they had previously experimented with. What's funny, though, is that while NASA has quietly published several scientific papers detailing their breakthroughs with nanosilver, and we're even constantly hiring more scientists to produce even more potent forms of nanosilver, the mainstream media has consistently ignored all of this research, which is why nobody outside a very small and tight-knit group of scientists and astronauts even knew any of this was happening. Pretty shocking, right? And what's even wilder, as I kept going deeper and deeper into research, I found these scientists didn't just stop with silver either. Because when it comes to putting Americans into space and keeping them safe, NASA doesn't do anything halfway. The stakes are simply too high to give those heroes anything but a total solution. That's why over the past few years, NASA scientists have also added several extremely unique and important strong compounds to the antifungal solution they give to astronauts. For example, I saw that they had created a very special blend of two potent nano-antifungals, liposomal curcumin and liposomal quercetin, and combined those with nanosilver too. Now, you may have heard of curcumin and quercetin before, but what's this liposomal thing? Okay, so this is where it gets pretty cool, because liposomes are basically protective shields that surround the curcumin and quercetin. They make sure that they don't get destroyed by fungus, but can instead go right into that fungal cocoon, being able to sneak through the tiniest gaps. And when you get liposomal curcumin and liposomal quercetin in their nano form and combine them with nanosilver, they pull off an amazing tactical strike that destroys both the protective cocoon and even the very DNA of the fungus itself. And this isn't just me talking here, because as I was researching, I saw that there were a lot of studies showing just how powerful nano-liposomal curcumin and quercetin are. For example, in one major 2019 study that was published in the Journal of Pathology, researchers found that liposomal curcumin's fungicidal effect comes from its ability to damage the fungal cell membrane. While in another study, a Brazilian team of researchers found something even more fascinating. After testing liposomal curcumin against 23 strains of fungi, including the notorious Candida albicans, they discovered that curcumin not only stopped the growth of these fungal strains, but also prevented Candida from sticking to human cells. This is a really big deal, because Candida is a very common culprit behind toenail fungus. But nano-liposomal curcumin made Candida essentially harmless. And what's even more impressive is studies have found that nano-liposomal curcumin is even better at killing fungus than the antifungal drug fluconazole. So, with all these nanoparticles of silver, you're disrupting the way fungi talk to one another, making them very easy to destroy. With nano-liposomal curcumin, you're essentially putting Teflon on your nail cells, which makes it impossible for fungi to stick to. And then with nano-liposomal quercetin, you're getting the best of both worlds. Because a really big study published in the Journal of Cellular Physiology and Biology found that it stopped fungi from communicating and organizing. And this was true even when the fungi were drug resistant. And in a major 2020 study published in the Journal of Fungal Biology, which is literally the top journal for science nerds who study fungus, they found that nano-liposomal quercetin stopped fungus from accumulating on your skin and nail cells, which meant infections simply stopped happening when this compound got applied. And what's even better is that all three of these ingredients I've just told you about have been proven time and time again to stop fungi from being able to produce their protective cocoon, which leaves your nail fungus raw, vulnerable, and exposed, so that it's actually quite easy to destroy. I was completely blown away. I'd been desperately searching for a solution to my toenail fungus, reading and researching everything I could, visiting doctors and reading forums, and yet I'd never heard any of this. It was incredible. Imagine tiny, potent particles of silver, curcumin, and quercetin working together to weaken, penetrate, and ultimately annihilate the persistent fungus. And all are powered by liposomal and nanotechnology, which makes these compounds even more effective, because that ensures their safe passage through the protective cocoon and right into the heart of the fungal cells. After reading about the sheer brilliance of the strategy, it was no wonder that this was discovered at NASA. It really was next level stuff. And my heart pounded with excitement. This solution, a nano combination of silver nanoparticles, liposomal curcumin, and liposomal quercetin, could potentially transform my life. The very same secret that keeps astronauts free from toenail fungus, regardless of how often they shower or how many days in a row they wear their socks, was now going to help my son and me eliminate our toenail fungus too. But then, a sobering reality hit me like a ton of bricks. Despite understanding the power of these extraordinary ingredients, it wasn't as if I could just go down to the drugstore and grab a bottle or buy them on Amazon. The combination of these ingredients was special, unique, and unfortunately, only used by NASA. And even if I could find a way to get the ingredients, I had no idea how to synthesize them into a usable form. So, for the next 3 weeks, I called and emailed dozens of manufacturers, people who had the expertise and resources to take everything that scientists had laid out and transform it into a formula that would destroy toenail fungus. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, I found a team who could help me bring this creation to life. People who knew exactly how much of each ingredient to use and how best to combine them. The anticipation was almost unbearable. I was on the edge of my seat awaiting their progress. Unfortunately, it took a lot longer and cost way more than I had hoped. But finally, after weeks of anticipation, the expertly formulated fungus solution was finally ready to use. This formula has the same ingredients that had proven successful in safeguarding astronauts' health in the sterile confines of the spaceship, and I couldn't have been more excited to try it. But once I had the solution, I was gripped by a familiar feeling of skepticism. My past failures haunted me, and that scared me. But deep in my heart, I knew this was different. It was, after all, astronaut approved. But out of caution, I chose to withhold the news from my son. I just wasn't ready to raise his hopes yet, and I'm glad I waited. Because initially, there were no miraculous transformations. Days went by without any visible change, and my initial optimism turned to disappointment. Because then, partway into the second week of using this formula, I noticed something. A slight but positive shift. The tenacious grip of the toenail function seemed to loosen. With each passing day, these small victories began to accumulate. Progress was slow, but steady, and my once brittle and discolored toenails were now growing stronger and healthier. The unsightly yellow tinge gradually faded, replaced by the natural translucent hue of healthy nails. The surface, once rough and flaky, was becoming smoother. The thick, distorted shape, a hallmark of the fungal infection, was slowly reshaping into its original form. And while the physical relief was unmistakable, the emotional benefits defied my expectations. I felt more confident and more at peace. It was as if an enormous weight had been lifted off my shoulders. It's hard to describe, but I felt lighter and more at ease in my own skin. Frankly, even though I knew the science behind the solution was world-class, its effectiveness still took me by surprise. It outperformed every remedy I'd tried previously, echoing the intensive research and scientific proof that went into its development. The promise of a fungus-free future felt better than I'd ever imagined. However, I remembered reading that fungal spores are cunning adversaries, burrowing deep into secluded corners of your toenails, lying in wait to resurface. And while the initial application of the solution had decimated the prominent colonies and ripped apart the protective cocoon, there was always a chance that it could come back. That's why I decided to continue using the treatment for at least 3 to 6 months to really be sure. But because my nails were now clearer than they'd ever been in years, and in fact showed no signs of yellow, disgusting fungus at all, I decided that it was finally time to share this solution with my son. And his journey toward recovery was just as dramatic. Within weeks, you could see the half moons on his toenails clear as day. And at that point, I got truly excited because I realized that this solution was more than just a toenail fungus remedy. It was the promise of a future free from the discomfort and embarrassment of toenail fungus. I was overcome with relief. Right then and there, I knew I couldn't keep this a secret. There were so many people out there struggling with the same stubborn fungus. And when I called the manufacturer to order more, one of the formulators came on the phone and told me that they had some ideas to make the formula even better. The first additional nano ingredient they recommended was a compound called luteolin. Studies suggest that luteolin can help to dismantle the fungal cocoon used as a defense, making it easier for other ingredients to reach and neutralize the fungus. And together, along with the silver nanoparticles, the nanocurcumin and the nanoquercetin, the toenail fungus was definitely at a big disadvantage. But they weren't done yet. The next nano ingredient he introduced was serratiopeptidase, or protease for short. Protease has the ability to break down the fungal DNA and disrupt it. And when the DNA is disrupted, the fungus can no longer replicate or grow. Additionally, protease also prevents the spread of the fungal infection by destroying any and all lingering fungal spores. Talk about a double whammy. And finally, the last nano ingredient they suggested I add was aloe barbadensis. This type of aloe is a terrific moisturizer, and it helps alleviate the dryness and itching that often come along with toenail fungus. Plus, recent research also indicates that it might also have potential antifungal properties too. Altogether, the formulators recommended we add these 3 additional nano ingredients to the toenail fungus formula. Along with the silver nanoparticles and the nano liposomal curcumin and quercetin. And just to be clear, these additions to the formula weren't merely inspired hunches. They were made using a body of scientific research, proving the potential of these ingredients to enhance the current formula. Once we had the new recipe, it took over a month to produce the new formula. And once I had it, I wanted to test it and see how it performed on a broader scale. So I reached out online, posting in forums and different health threads, seeking volunteers from all walks of life who were also battling persistent toenail fungus. And the response was overwhelming. I heard from hundreds of people from a wide range of ages and backgrounds, and they all had one thing in common: tenacious toenail fungus. So I sent each of them a supply of our enhanced formula and eagerly awaited their feedback. Just a few weeks later, the reports started coming in, and they were nothing short of amazing. embarrassing. Every participant noted a significant improvement in their toenail fungus condition. One woman, a retired nurse named Linda, who had tried numerous antifungal treatments before, reported a drastic transformation. After years of fungus, her toenails were no longer brown, but it started clearing up. Meanwhile, Jack, a middle-aged attorney, noticed his persistent itchiness and discomfort finally going away. And then there was Carol, an active grandmother who felt an upswing in her confidence as she could finally wear sandals without embarrassment. Every testimonial we received was proof of the effectiveness of our newly fortified formula, and seeing these transformative results reaffirmed my belief in this advanced formula. Having witnessed the life-changing benefits in my life as well as in my son's life, and now in so many others, I realized the importance of making this available to everyone. That's why I'm thrilled to share with you the first and only antifungal solution that uses NASA-grade nanotechnology and silver nanoparticles to penetrate through the protective fungal cocoon and destroy it from the inside out. We call it Nano Defense Pro. This powerful deep space nano antifungal solution is designed to quickly and easily eliminate even the worst cases of toenail fungus by rapidly penetrating the protective cocoon that surrounds the fungus and killing it where it hides. As soon as you start using this breakthrough, you'll begin to feel the transformation taking place, and in just a matter of days, you'll start to see a subtle but clear difference in the appearance of your toenails. You'll notice that the yellowing and discoloration caused by the fungus will start to fade away as your toenails begin to look more vibrant. The thick and brittle nails that once plagued you will become thinner and more flexible. You'll be able to trim them easily without worrying about them cracking or breaking. And the ridges and bumps that were once present on your toenails will start to disappear, leaving behind a smooth and even surface. You'll go from being self-conscious and ashamed to feeling confident and proud to show off your feet once again. Simply apply our deep space nano antifungal solution to the infected area for 60 seconds a day. That's all it takes to wipe out fungus completely. We use only the purest ingredients, and every ingredient is tested and certified for purity by third-party labs to ensure the highest quality. This means that this deep space nano antifungal nail solution doesn't contain toxins like poisons or harmful metals, and it's made with love and attention to detail in a state-of-the-art facility that follows all the rules set by the FDA and adheres to good manufacturing processes. This NASA-grade nail solution is also proudly made in the USA. Honestly, it's no wonder that since we released it to the public, it's been hard to keep in stock. In only 4 months, we've sold well over 127,793 jars, and that number is climbing every day. People all over the USA who've been suffering from embarrassing toenail fungus finally have an all-natural solution that works, and they're telling their friends and family too. But with such high demand, it's only a matter of time before we run out. And since our premium natural ingredients come from elite chemists using advanced technology, it will take us a long time to restock. That's why it's crucial that you place your order for as much of this deep space nano antifungal solution as possible right now. The last thing we want is for you to interrupt your treatment before the fungus is gone for good, because in that case, reinfection is not only possible but likely. In fact, from what we've seen and what our customers tell us, the best results are seen when someone uses this deep space nano antifungal solution for at least 180 days. That not only eliminates fungus for good, but also gives you the best chance to bulletproof your nails against future reinfections. Don't let toenail fungus win. Make sure to secure your supply today and say goodbye to the discomfort and embarrassment of toenail fungus. We've gone to great lengths to ensure that this deep space nano antifungal solution is affordable to every American who needs it. After handpicking the best ingredients, negotiating production, and keeping costs low, I'm proud to offer you this game-changing formula at the lowest possible price. You'll never have to spend your hard-earned money on the ineffective creams and dangerous drugs again. And you can say goodbye to hazardous treatments that Big Pharma pushes on you. Our deep space antifungal nail solution is only available on this website and only while supplies last. But we never want to go big with the solution and produce it on an industrial scale because we know that would simply lower the quality. We will only make as much as we can keep an eye on. So if you see someone claiming to have a similar deep space nano antifungal solution anywhere other than this website, know that you're not getting the real deal. We will never sell on Amazon or eBay because we will simply never be able to ensure proper quality control if we go that big. This deep space nano antifungal solution can protect you now and for years to come. You can say goodbye to the expensive side effect filled alternatives that provide only minor relief, if any at all. Instead, you can enjoy real and lasting protection against fungus. Watch as your toenails begin to change from a yellow-green color to a healthy and shiny pink. Experience the relief as the itching and scratching stop and the foul odor disappears. No more hiding your shoes from your loved ones so they won't have to smell the musty, disgusting odor of fungus. No more running away from the pool or avoiding holidays by the seaside. Think of how great it will be to feel your old self once again. When you invest in our Deep Space Nano antifungal solution today, you'll pay less than you would for a 15-minute doctor's visit, excruciating diagnostic procedures, laser treatment, or even prescription drugs. Yet, unlike any of those approaches, this Deep Space Nano antifungal solution is what I believe to be the only real chance of eliminating toenail fungus once and for all. Plus, when you consider the fact that there's only one facility in the world that meets our quality control expectation, that each jar contains the purest and most potent form of these ingredients on the planet, today's special low price is a bargain if you ask me, especially considering that one bottle is enough to last you one whole month. Listen, this is not about making money. This is about getting rid of fungus. Not only for myself and my son, but for all the other people such as yourself, tormented by shame and itching, and terrified that their nails might break off when they put their socks on every day. That is why I've negotiated hard to bring you this solution for as little as $1.50 a day. That's right. For our most discounted package, you will spend less than $2 a day to say goodbye to fungus for good. But this special discounted package is only available today on this website and only while supplies last. It's the biggest discount we've ever offered, and we're only doing it because we know what a difference this will make in your life. For 6 jars of this Deep Space Nano antifungal solution, you will invest only $49 per jar. That is the right quantity to finally clear out fungus from the deepest parts of your nail and prevent it from coming back in a couple of weeks or months. And that's not all. If you order the 3 or 6 month package, you'll get an even bigger discount. Here's why. We've seen the effects of Nano Defense Pro on many people and ran thousands of tests. In 98% of the cases, the fungal infection had already breached the deepest layers of the skin and nails, hiding in an extremely thick protective cocoon. That's why, as a rule of thumb, after seeing the positive results in more than 127,700 people, we recommend you take at the very least 3 bottles. Even though, in all fairness, I would go for the 6-bottle package. Here's why. We do not know for how long you've been dealing with fungus, what type of fungus you've contracted, nor how strong your immune system is. Chances are it might take longer for the formula to fully destroy this fungus on your nails. I can tell you that if you want to be 100% sure you'll never deal with fungus again, you opt for 6 bottles. While 3 bottles will completely erode the fungal cocoon, destroying its last line of defense and making your nails look better and healthier, 6 bottles will make sure that your nails and skin fully regrow and look as good as new, and that the fungus never returns. This means that you'll never have to worry about that nasty fungal infection ever again, no matter what you step on, what you eat, or what shoes you wear. Make no mistake, every extra bottle of Nano Defense Pro will bring you nothing but more benefits. Of course, that doesn't happen overnight. And anyone who is telling you that, quote, you will get permanent results instantly is simply lying to you. That's why we recommend you invest in more bottles today. You deserve it. Your health is the most precious thing you own. And if you choose your package right now, you will risk absolutely nothing, because we want you to be certain that this Deep Space Nano antifungal solution is right for you. We offer every single person a 180-day money-back guarantee. That means you have a full 180 days to test drive this Deep Space Nano antifungal solution for yourself. I know you'll be thrilled with the results. But if you, for any reason, are not 100% satisfied with your order, simply contact our friendly support staff. Send back all the bottles, even if they're empty, and they'll issue a refund. You know what? If you buy our 6-jar package and your fungus goes away quicker, feel free to send us back the jars you haven't used, and you'll get your money back for every single one of them. Even though, if I were you, I would save them for my friends or family. That is how confident we are that this solution can do wonders. To put it bluntly, if for any reason you are not thrilled with our solution, you pay nothing. If your fungus disappears quickly and you still have some unused jars left, we will give you back the money for them. That's just how I believe business should be done. Either you love our product or you don't pay a dime. What could be simpler than that? And because you're covered by our 180-day, no-hassle money-back guarantee, why not take advantage of our 6-month highly discounted package? It really is the smartest option. I mean, you're protected either way. If you love what this Deep Space Nano antifungal solution can do for your toenails, you're locked into our lowest rate of just $49 per jar, saving more than anybody else. And if our NASA-grade solution doesn't work for you, then you simply ask for a refund and lose nothing. No matter what happens, you truly only have everything to gain and nothing to lose. Plus, if you make the smart choice to invest in a 6-month supply of Deep Space Nano Antifungal Nail Solution, I'm also going to add 2 bonus guides worth $109 absolutely free. That's why today only, when you invest in a 6-month supply of our Deep Space Antifungal Solution, you'll also receive a free copy of the Skin Fix Files, tips and tricks for defeating eczema, psoriasis, and other skin conditions. Inside, you'll discover how, just like your toenail fungus, you can banish other common skin conditions like psoriasis and eczema faster and easier than you ever thought possible. Here's just a sample of what you'll find inside this free bonus guide. Discover the simple sweet honey trick for dry lips, cold sores, and cracked skin that will make your skin look and feel baby soft in seconds. Uncover the bizarre secret of cabbage leaves that can transform your skin by reducing inflammation and bringing relief to eczema and psoriasis sufferers. Find out the one thing that you'll need to do with your aloe vera for a peculiar yet effective solution to calm and soothe irritated skin and offer instant relief from various skin conditions. And learn to avoid the 5 common healthy foods you're probably eating that make psoriasis and eczema 10 times worse. You'll find all that and more inside this ebook, and it's yours free when you order the discounted 6-month package. Not only that, but you will also get the chance to discover how you can slash your medical costs with our second bonus called At Your Expense: America's 8 costliest healthcare mess-ups and how to avoid them. Here's what you'll discover inside. 28 European countries banned this, but it's still in 193 products in the US and commonly found in most supermarkets. This ingredient is causing rapid cell death in your gut, and you need to stop eating it now. Why you should never step on the grass. How playgrounds and parks are teeming with toxins that authorities are doing nothing about. Tips and tricks of a detox fanatic who slashed his healthcare costs to only $50 over the past 20 years. The one essential oil they tried censoring that can renew gut tissue with no medical intervention. Together, these guides are valued at $109. But today, both guides are yours free when you buy the 6-pack on sale, and you'll get access to them immediately. But that's not all, because when you order the discounted 6-month package, you'll also get free shipping and a free extra bottle of Nano Defense Pro. But both the special multi-jar discount and the free shipping are limited. When we run out of our Deep Space Nano Antifungal Solution, it could take months to make a new batch. So choose a 6-jar package or any other package below this video right now to secure your order. This is truly one of the smartest and most important investments you'll ever make to free yourself from the embarrassment of toenail fungus. So given everything you've just been told, I'm sure you must be really excited to try this Deep Space Nano Antifungal Solution for yourself. All you have to do to claim your discount is simply click the button below now to order the 6-month supply, or choose whatever amount makes the most sense to you. After you've selected your package, you'll then be taken to our secure order page, where you can fill out your shipping and payment information. We use the same professional-grade 256-bit encryption technology as places like Amazon, eBay, and Walmart use, so you know your information is safe with us. Once you hit enter, you'll land on our confirmation page, which will carefully explain exactly what you can expect with your order. Now, I must warn you, sometimes we experience temporary out of stocks. Obviously, we do our best to avoid this, but that's just the simple reality of trying to get a product like this out to so many people placing big orders all at once. You don't have to worry though, because as long as you're watching this video right now and don't see any out of stock icon popping up anywhere, then we still have jars of this Deep Space Nano Antifungal Solution left in stock. But I really want to make this note for you because I can't say for sure when we might run out of stock next. And I don't ever want you to be in that unfortunate situation where you fall in love with our Deep Space Nano Antifungal Solution, only to come back to this page a month later to find out that it's completely sold out. So that's just one reason why our 6-month option is our most popular. Because not only will you get the full benefit of this Deep Space Nano Antifungal Solution, but you will also have plenty of time to place a follow-up order if you choose to. So just go ahead and order the 6-month supply or whatever package makes the most sense to you. Now we're at the point where it's time for you to make a decision. You've already seen all of the science behind this nail fungus breakthrough, who have truly transformed their lives in just seconds a day. I stand fully behind this product, and I've done everything I could to make ordering today one of the easiest and most logical decisions you'll ever make. No matter which size order you place, you're 100% protected by our 180-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Ultimately, though, it's up to you to make that decision. You're the only one who can take that first step in the direction of a radically new life. If for any reason you still feel a little on the fence, then I have to ask you, please don't let that fear or doubt hold you back. because you're 100% safe and protected. And when you think about it, what's the alternative? I can only imagine all of the failed solutions you've tried in the past that left you feeling frustrated, anxious, and hopeless. I know because I'm sure I've tried every single one of them myself. But now you have something completely different right in front of you. You could leave this page right now after hearing everything I've shared, but what will change? You'll just end up back on that hamster wheel of disappointments, feeling frustrated that nothing works, feeling stressed out by the thought of people seeing and talking behind your back about your infected toenails, and feeling worried about what that fungus is doing to the rest of your body. You and I both know that's no way to live. This is why I'm now reaching out my hand to offer you a way out. You don't even have to say yes. All you have to say is maybe. You could be just moments away from feeling like you've got a new lease on life, enjoying an active, healthy lifestyle without worrying, fret, or fear, and living each day feeling like you're in control. All of that and more could be waiting for you when you click on the Buy Now button. And while whatever you decide is entirely up to you, I truly do hope you make the right choice and evict fungus from your life. All you have to do to get started is just choose your package from below right now. And I'll see you on the other side to help you continue your journey. Regardless of your choice, I want to thank you personally for taking the time to watch this presentation. I wish you all the health and happiness in the world. Still there? Look, I know I just covered a lot, so let me go ahead and answer some of the most common questions I get. 1. How does this deep space nano antifungal solution work again? Scientists have discovered that nail fungus is protected by an incredibly dense mesh-like cocoon. This makes it virtually impossible for most forms of treatment to fully penetrate it and therefore reach and hit the fungus full force in order to destroy it. So, no matter how strong they are, drugs and antifungals just don't work. Their particles are simply too big to get through. That's why our deep space antifungal solution contains a natural blend of powerful nano ingredients. This means our formula is delivered in the form of nanoparticles, or extremely small particles. These nanoparticles, which are 50,000 times smaller than the width of a human hair, are able to get to places that are off limits to larger particles. Thanks to that, our nano ingredients can easily penetrate through the protective fungal cocoon and attack the fungus at its source. Not only that, but they also stick to the fungi, causing them to self-destruct. Question number 2. Who should take your deep space nano antifungal solution? If you had asked me this 10 years ago, I would have said only people with severe toenail fungus. But now, with all the new research showing that more and more people are suffering from stubborn, recurring toenail fungus, I suggest that anyone who is even remotely concerned about their toenail health should use it. Question 3. What happens after I click the button below? Once you choose your package below, you'll go to our 100% secure checkout page. Then just enter your payment information and place your order. And don't worry, there's no automatic billing or anything like that. After that, you'll receive your order of this deep space nano antifungal solution in the next 5 to 7 business days in a discreet package, which means you're less than a week away from eliminating your toenail fungus while protecting yourself from future fungal outbreaks. Question 4. What if it doesn't work for me? That's easy. Remember, our deep space nano antifungal solution comes with a 100% money back guarantee. That means when you order today, you have a full 180 days to decide if it's right for you. If you're like the thousands of other men and women who have used this deep space nano antifungal solution already, then you'll be thrilled with the results. But if for any reason you're not, simply call or email our customer service team and we'll refund your investment. Question 5. How long will your deep space nano antifungal solution be available? That's a tough one. My goal is to make a huge impact by significantly reducing toenail fungus and other fungal-related issues around the country. But because Big Pharma isn't too happy with me and my breakthrough, it's uncertain how much longer our deep space nano antifungal solution will be available. Plus, with all the issues our world is facing right now, the economy isn't what it used to be. Supply chains are affected and ingredients are a little harder to come by. That's why it's important for you to get this deep space nano antifungal solution today, especially since it comes with a 180-day, 100% money back guarantee, which means there's zero risk to you. It's also why you really should stock up. Question 6. All right, I want to try your deep space nano antifungal solution. Now what? Well, that's the easy part. Just click one of the buttons below and choose your package. Typically, one bottle of Nano Defense Pro will last you approximately 1 month. That's why I recommend you get the 3-bottle or 6-bottle package to make sure your system is 100% clear of fungus. Remember, you can get started and save over 70% by choosing our most popular 6-jar package. Just fill out your details on the next page to complete your order, and our deep space nano antifungal solution will be in your hands within the next 5 to 7 business days. Plus, there's no risk because of my ironclad 180-day guarantee. This presentation is now ending, and I want to thank you for sticking with me all the way until the end. Go ahead and choose your package now. Use this breakthrough deep space nano antifungal solution as directed for at least 30 days, then reach out and let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.